We're about to hit you with some live action, and I guarantee you're going to love it because we got somebody to help us today.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. Here we are with a live edition. I'm very excited about this one. This dude, when you talk about up-and-comers, there's literally nobody else that I can think of within all of Locked On, and I say that with my chest out proudly, that has done more to do it right. Ladies and gentlemen, help me bring on my buddy today, Drake Toll, Locked On Big 12. How we doing?
Dude, Cody, it is 107 degrees outside, so I am sweaty and fired up for this, man. Look, when it comes to the Big 12, obviously I've been all over it in these teams, but I've got a soft spot. I can't say it on my show, but I've got a soft spot for the hateful eight, the eight that have built this conference back to prominence. Yep. So I love the fact that Oklahoma State is still square. Remember when we were talking Oklahoma State to the Pac-12, and here we are with Locked On Big 12 still doing crossovers with those Cowboys and Cowgirls. I'm glad to be here.
Man, we could get wild deep into all that. So we'll save some of that, right? But real quick, right? So thank you the other day. It was an honor whenever you got to do kind of the Big 12 roundtable. Yeah, but I do have one bone to pick, and you already know where it's coming. You had the contenders section, and then you had the pretenders sitting in the background. And I'm somewhat okay with it, right? Because I do understand what happened last year was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. Yeah. But I know that you study the game as much as anybody else in the Big 12, and you're very well aware that Gundy does have a propensity for coming back from craziness on a regular basis. When you look at the over-under at 6.5, obviously I know that you picked the over, but just real briefly, what do you think separates Oklahoma State from being a pretender as opposed to a contender this season?
Well, it's question marks. Some teams, the question marks are a little bit too big. And to me, there is an Iowa State who is not going to compete. They are a pretender in the Big 12 this year. There's a West Virginia. They're not going to compete. They're a pretender in the Big 12 this year. Then there's an Oklahoma State. And Mike Gundy, the more heat you put on him, the more pressure you put on Mike Gundy, the better he does. We have had, over the course of his tenure at Oklahoma State, a couple of seasons where you go, whoof, if he goes 4-8 this year, he might get the can. That's been said once or twice before. And every time those conversations are brought up, he does something special. He doesn't do just enough. He does something special. So do I think Oklahoma State will be 2012 caliber? Of course not. Do I think they'll be Fiesta Bowl champions caliber? No, but I still believe that with Oklahoma State embracing an underdog role, this squad has a legitimate chance to be a top 3, top 5 team in a 14-team Big 12. Keep in mind, if you finish 5th in this league, you're still a damn good football team.
You know, I not only do I obviously 100% agree to some, like I'm tracking, man. I get it. I absolutely get it. But let me give you a little bit of this, okay? This being the first time since 2008 that we received 0 votes for the AP poll top 20, which is fine, man. Again, right. I understand how last season went. But when you look at the development of somebody like a Garrett Rangel, who's put on 17 pounds, shaved 0.2 of a second off of his 40, Alan Bowman does bring a lot to the table. But, right, he's had 2 major injuries. He's had 2 broken bones, and then multiple different systems. So it is going to be hit or miss. I 100% get that. But we have 5 offensive linemen that have been together for 5 years, my guy. 5 guys, 5 years. And you're Baylor Bear guy, and it is ironic that the outline for our logo today for the crossover is your Baylor Bear colors. I'm okay. I love Baylor. I'll rock with it. I'll go with it. I do have a bone to pick with Baylor, but we'll save that for the end. Yeah, man, that offensive line is something that I don't think people are taking into consideration. Elijah Collins almost rushed for 1,000 yards
Yeah.
at Michigan State. Before, when you get stuck behind Kenneth Walker, it's Kenneth Walker, man. It happens. It's not that big of a deal. You know who Ollie Gordon is,
Yep.
right? You know how hard Baylor even went after him, as did Texas Tech, everybody. I just do. I think we have a lot more talent than people are taking into consideration, and you got to look at it. Why does Oklahoma State recruit the way it does? How does Oklahoma State always be in the top 3, top 4 in the Big 12 with just, the 2-star, 3-star type of thing? And I think it's because the inner workings are always fluctuating the right way more often than not.
Yeah, look, Oklahoma State's not a five-star recruiting program. Neither is Baylor. Neither is TCU and Texas Tech. TCU went to the national championship game this past season, and they're not known for recruiting in the top 20, top 25.
Right.
And now removed from that, I think a lot of us can agree that was a great thing for the Big 12 to have a team in the national championship who didn't even win the Big 12 championship. Was great representation for this conference. And to hone in on what you said about Oklahoma State, absolutely. There is something about this program when it comes to winning with less, and you're going to go, oh, we don't win with less. No, not compared to other Big 12 teams. Oklahoma State recruits with the best of them, but similar to TCU and similar now to the Arizonas who are coming in, Oklahoma State can't compete with Texas and Alabama and Ohio State in recruiting, but you know what they can do? Beat them on the football field. They've beaten Texas on the football field. That's where it matters is the 53 yards that separate the width of this football field. You didn't even mention Brennan Presley. And you didn't mention some of these transfers that have come in to the fold for Oklahoma State, despite the loss of a guy like Dominic Richardson. What is it? Dejon Stribling, who comes in from Washington. That was one of the guys who I circled as a top 5, top 10 transfer in the league this year. He's going to shock a lot of people. I don't have a ton of
You nailed it.
Bowman yet, but I think this offense, the pieces built around Alan Bowman are going to be good enough to bring him up to a level that we haven't seen him play at in college before.
Dag nabbit, Drake, not only was that a very acceptable answer, it was a really good one, and it was a really good segue because you see, segment number 2, we're going to talk about the Arizona State type of situation that we find ourselves within. But real quick, we do have to let the fine people out here know that if you want to look like Drake, ladies and gentlemen, look at this daggone head of hair this fella's got.
Look at the back. Look at the back.
You see mine? Mine's a hat. There's a reason I wear a hat. But you don't have to be one of those people like me that rocks in a hat all the time because Nutrafol's definitely going to have you covered.
I've been taking mine, Cody. You have not been taking yours. I've been taking mine.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I am still waiting on it. They did say it was obviously coming in the mail, so I'm waiting on it to come. But trust and believe, buddy, when it does come, I'm going to be using it because there's not a lot of things in life I'm worried about. I'll tell you this. I am more concerned with the fact that I'm losing my hair than if I were to lose a leg. And guess what? I lost one of those. I'm more worried about the hair. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't be me. Not that you lose a leg if your hair is going bad. But
right.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverages. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their hair wellness quiz to identify causes of your thinning hair. Nutrafol will give you your personalized plan for better hair growth through the whole body wellness type of approach. Go to Nutrafol.com/men. Enter the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That is one word, LOCKEDONCollege. And you don't have to be like this guy right here, which is me, not Drake. You have that perfect head of hair. It's frustrating to see it, but you know what, man? I don't mind being slightly envious. And speaking of being envious, the Pac-12 is very envious of where we sit right now, buddy.
I don't feel bad.
It's hard.
I have had people tell me in close corners that I needed to be a little bit more kind to the Pac-12, that I was being a little too harsh to these teams. And look, welcome to capitalism. Welcome to the way that money works. Welcome to what college football has always been. I grew up in the great state of Arkansas, which many will remember was a part of this behind me, the Southwest Conference originally. And the reason that I have, it's one of the biggest pieces of merchandise that I own, and I wanted to slap it on the back wall because I point to this and say, look, you think the Pac-12, you think we should be sad for the Pac-12? Who's eulogizing the Southwest Conference? We are 25 years from when the Southwest Conference existed, one of the coolest leagues in history, and it dissipated. And guess what? Nobody batted an eye. We all woke up the next day, and now 25 years later, college football is still thriving. Things die. Things go away. Not everybody lives forever. And we can write the obituary and give them a hell of a eulogy, but I just don't care that much that the Pac-12 is gone, especially if it means the Big 12 is in a great spot.
It's hard to feel bad with the amount of pretentiousness that was floating around out west, right? It was crazy to see, and it was fun. I don't know if fun's the word, but it was exhilarating. See, that's even better than fun. It was exhilarating to see that Colorado and Arizona were willing to put themselves in a position to potentially do better for themselves moving forward. Now, I have some frustrations with the way that Arizona State's gone about things. Yeah. They're going to be a little bit of a punching bag because of it. But then we get to the getting, which is the Utah Utes. Drake, please tell me how and why. I'm hearing and watching and reading. I know I went to the school for kids to read good, but I read good enough to see all these Utah fans saying they're going to come in and wreck house and run ship day one. Help me out, man. Are they crazy or am I crazy?
Cody, help me out. It's going to take a family effort, a group. This is group therapy. When somebody says the word Utah fans, I have flashbacks to last week. There was a span there for about a month where Utah fans could not, and for any Utah fans that listen back to this or are listening to this, there was a span where they could not have been more pompous. And it wasn't the fan group as a whole. I think that the silent majority, I'll say, is fine. They're as normal as you and me. But the ones who were outspoken, the big media members out in Utah, the ones who really had a sway on social media were coming after the Big 12 when they needed a lifeline. They were riding the Titanic down to the bottom of the ocean saying, hey, we're happy where we are and you guys suck. We're the lifeboat. We are the lifeboat. And then you mentioned Arizona State. They got invited to the lifeboat and then shot a hole right in the bottom of it. What did these 100%. People think they're doing? And that's why, I put more emphasis on Utah here recently on my show, because I do think a lot of their fans are good-hearted and they bring value to the Big 12. Arizona State, you're really going to have to help me out, guys. Somebody tell me that if we were just 15 teams without Arizona State tomorrow, why should I care? And maybe I am ignorant and somebody needs to fill me in, but so far I've seen nothing but trouble from the Sun Devils.
Yeah, man, it is wild how they have somebody immediately start throwing shade. Yeah. I don't know if you've been to Morgantown, right? But Morgantown at night when they're good is on my bucket list, buddy. Now, they have to be good. Nobody has much of an interest going to Morgantown when they're 2-7, right? 100%. Right. But if they're good and they're ranked, good and daggone well, that place gets crazy. I'm all for it.
You've got me reclining in my chair right now because I am dumbfounded how somebody gets into the lifeboat and then looks around and goes, you're ugly and you smell bad. What are we doing? This lifeboat just rescued you, and the first thing you want to do is critique everybody in it. It makes what lack of common sense this is. And I'll call it's stupidity. It is just stupidity. It's not ignorant. Cody, there's a difference between ignorance and stupidity. Ignorance, you just didn't know. Stupidity is you knew and you just aren't that smart. And we're seeing stupidity all day long. I don't get it. I think you fire everybody in the Arizona State leadership at this point because they have just been, and pardon my French here, asshats. It's a clown show. Everything they say right now. And I went to Baylor, so you can't tell them I said
that. Dude, I love it. And you're right. They are very, very good for the Big 12. I'm not naive to the idea that they do bring a lot instantaneously. And you know what, man? I'm actually okay with the way that they're acting because You got to have a heel, dude. You have to. Everybody does. Like
Yep.
the natural rival, I think, for Oklahoma State is Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But right now, we like each other. Right now,
Yep.
that the hateful eight, we're buddy. We get along. We're friends. We're the type of guys that'll jump in for a bar fight now for that group of eight, right?
Yep.
So even though Tech makes sense, I could see one of these newbies stirring enough crap to get people fired up. UCF even is one of them that pretends to have this Twitter thing figured out, but it's pretty wild, man. There's a few teams that are going to make this thing fun. And Drake, I know you got some daggone pool, okay? As you rocking your ESPN, you're the host of Locked On Big 12. And guys, if you haven't checked out Locked On Big 12, you're missing out. This is crazy what Drake's been able to do. Congrats, brother. But in your state of pool, make sure that Arizona State opening Big 12 game is at Morgantown at night.
Yeah.
And let Morgantown be rocking and rolling because West Virginia just so happens to be like 3-1, 4-0. Bring it on, man.
Yep. I hope, and in the most respectful way possible, I hope that Arizona State goes 2-10 its first year in the Big 12. And it likely will at this point. They couldn't win with Herm Edwards. That's a Hall of Fame coach you brought in and just wasted. So I don't prey upon many people's downfall, and I've started to come around on Utah. But one, I have not come across more than 3 Arizona State fans on Twitter. I'm waiting to see where they are. I'm waiting to see where the Arizona State fans are. I want to interact with you if you exist out there. And then 2, again, the leadership has been so embarrassing for that school that I hope they're in Morgantown game 1 of the Big 12 for Arizona State. And I hope, and I almost know they will lose 42-0, and I'm going to love it.
You know what, man? See, this is great. This is great. You get me fired up. So this is even better.
I'm not going to hold back punches, Cody. I'm not going to be the nice guy here. Somebody's got to hate me.
Outside of Utah, BYU, who do you think of everybody else is going to have the opportunity to contend immediately, or at least within the next 3-4 years? We'll put it that way.
So from an individual program standpoint, to win the Big 12 or compete at a national level, because I think there might be a difference here. What do you ponder?
Well, seeing as how this is the last year of the 4-year playoff thing, I slightly disagree. If we were staying in the four-team playoff format, then I think you're 100% right. With this 12-team format, it's going to give everybody a little bit of leeway, right? So if you're first or second in the Big 12, you're 11-2 or 10-2, 11-1, that type of scenario. I see most years, buddy, we get 2 teams in. I firmly believe that, like 100% to my core. And I'm not even just talking about Oklahoma State, man. I think that between Utah and BYU, Baylor's gonna get it. I'm about to rip into your Bears here in a second, but they can get it from a talent standpoint. We know that they've already proved it. Obviously what TCU was able to do is pretty amazing. Kansas State is not going anywhere. If KU can dig into their pockets, and it looks like they can to keep Lance Leipold, like this conference is amazing. Gus Malzahn at a national title coach at flipping UCF, who's now not only a big boy, but one of the 4 original new big boys. Like that's just, oh man.
Yep.
I'm ready for football season to start tomorrow, man.
I am too. And, look, Dana Holgorsen has competed for Big 12 championships in this league within the last decade. You've got Cincinnati program that went to the college football playoff within the last couple of years as well. Even the teams that I don't think are going to be very good have been good before or have coaches or pieces that could still shock somebody. This is going to be the league of chaos. And no publicity is bad publicity. So I don't think chaos is going to be a bad thing for this Big 12.
You know what, Case? It's okay. Somebody actually said the other day on Twitter, they were talking about somebody needs to become a blue blood out of the Big 12, right? It doesn't matter who, but somebody. Yeah. And it's a good argument, but I disagreed a little bit, right? I thought that the idea of the parity would actually be a good thing because in the Big Ten, there's always going to be Ohio State. There's always going to be Michigan. Point blank, period. It is what it is. In the SEC, there's always going to be Georgia. There's always going to be Bama. In the Big 12, it could be TCU. It could be K-State. Could be Baylor. Could be O-State. It could be anybody. And the biggest benefit that I think people are underestimating is I feel like I call a spade. And there's games in the SEC that are guaranteed W's. There's games in the Big Ten that are guaranteed W's. That's not the case in the Big 12.
No.
So the war of attrition will mean whoever comes out of it in the end will be beat to all get out. So depth is important, but there's going to be nobody else that they play that has been more prepared from a physicality standpoint, SEC included.
If every team at the top of the Big 12 is 8-4, 9-3, and you have 4 teams that are sitting right there with a tie or close to it to vie for a championship, look, we already know it. Let's be very clear. The SEC and the Big Ten are the 2 dominant forces. The money proves it. The national championships prove it. I'm not saying that as a cynic. It's just the way things are. We're being realists about it. So if you already know your third fiddle, then by God, be the most entertaining third fiddle that exists. So if everybody goes 8-4, 9-3, and you don't know who's going to beat who, there is nothing to me better than everybody outside of TCU. It was that way last year in the Big 12. I don't think there's anything better than that. I am hoping for chaos.
Yeah. You know what, Drake? I flipping fracking love you. You don't know it yet, but I just put it in my noggin here, and again, I went to school for kids can't read good, but I retained some things. Dude, we're gonna have to do some live stuff this season, like off the cuff, off the rip, kind of as it goes. But that's a good segue. Again, man, it's almost like, man, I swear you've done this once or twice. But when you look at the outlook for Oklahoma State in this coming season, we have the schedule for the ages. We don't play Texas Tech, who I think is going to be beyond dangerous, right? Not only dangerous, I'm a big believer in Tyler Shuck. I think Behren Morton is the best up-and-coming quarterback in the Big 12. The best. I'm saying Malik Murphy level, and that's even surpassing my guy, Garrett Rangel. I think Behren Morton is that daggone good. And they've got a lot of seniors. 19 of Texas Tech's 22 players are daggone seniors, dude. Like, that's something. And we don't have to play them. And as much shade as I want to throw at Texas because we beat them like 9 of the last 12 years, man, that feels good to say. We don't play them either, and I think they're going to be pretty good this year. We don't play Baylor either, right? We don't get to see our homie, Dom Richardson, don the field against
no TCU, too.
We avoid a lot, man. So let me ask you this. If Oklahoma State wins, let's say they go 11-1. All right, I know it's crazy. I get it. But let's just say it happens. Do you think people look at it and say, well, I'll be darned, Mike Gundy had his back against the wall and he got her did? Or do you think people say, oh, they had a weak schedule, they don't deserve nothing?
I'm going to get up real close to the microphone for this. I'm going to get real close here. I'll tell you all this. I was there. I was on site in 2019 when the Baylor football team under Matt Rule went 11-1 against everybody's odds. They were picked way outside the top 25. They had gone 7-6 the year prior, and everybody thought Baylor's going to suck or be middle of the road. Lucky to be 8-4. Went 11-1. Went 11-1. That's going to happen. That's got a real good chance of happening at Oklahoma State. Look, I'm not gonna blow hot air up your skirt. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna get you too excited. And you know what? When it comes to my rankings,
hold on. How'd you know I was wearing a skirt?
Well, it's either bird dogs or a skirt. I had a 50-50 shot there, Cody. So I'm gonna, in my preseason rankings, Oklahoma State's going to be in the 8-4 range, in the 7-5 range until I figure this out. I just like there's the whole, they set a standard, right? For us media guys, got to have, some sort of professionalism. But when I look at teams that could shock everybody, it's Texas Tech, who's becoming less shocking. We're talking about it now. And Oklahoma State, because this schedule is stupid easy. And it's not just because this schedule is easy. There are some pieces a lot that I like about Oklahoma State, but it sure doesn't make things worse when the schedule has teams like Iowa State, who is going to be bad, West Virginia, who's going to be bad. And even those games are on the road. I don't care. You should still win. Houston on the road should be a win. And then I think, Oklahoma State's got Cincinnati at home. That's an automatic win. Kansas State's tough, obviously, but Kansas at home should be a win. Dude, BYU at home got a good shot for a win. I can't. If Oklahoma State,
you skip the big one at home.
What do you want? Oh, it's University of Central Arkansas. My mom and my dad's alma mater, the University of Central Arkansas.
Oh, great!
These are fighting words, Cody.
Man, the last bedlam for at least the next 8 years is going to be pretty. It has the opportunity to be pretty.
And Oklahoma
epic.
State's going to win it. We can stop talking about it right there. Oklahoma State's going to win Bedlam. I think Oklahoma is the most overrated Big 12 team, even more than Texas going into this next season. I don't think Texas is going to be what people think they are. Oh, shocking! What a hot take that I've just given you. Cody, I like what Oklahoma State's got. I love the schedule. If Oklahoma State does not win 9 games, and I know this is harsh, if they do not win 9 games, this season's not a success. An 8-4 Oklahoma State with this schedule is disappointing to me because I look up and down and just think you've got to take care of business. Mike Gundy, you have to take care of business this year. And if Alan Bowman's not that guy, then you bench him. You go with a different option. Baylor, same thing. If Blake Shapen's not that guy, if Chandler Morris is not that guy, you got to bench him. Every team, you put all your cards on the table this year in the new Big 12. Prove you're the big dog moving forward.
I love it, man. Yeah, I think the all gas, no brakes, give no quarters, show no mercy, give no excuses. That's the blueprint that Sonny Dykes put forth last year, right? How many times did people say, oh, they barely won this game, they should have lost this game if they didn't get this stupid field goal, blah, blah. But they did, though. That's the thing. Yep. And it's because Sonny Dykes threw a caution to the wind, and he was like, we're going for the jugular every minute of every game. It's going to cost us sometimes, but we feel like we have enough talent to overcome it. I think that's been Gundy's only limitation is he doesn't always throw caution to the wind and just go after it. This year's that year.
It has to be. I mean, you say it is that year, and I'm with you, but it just – at the base level, it has to be. I know we're at, again, people outside of the Big 12 will say, oh, you're asking a lot out of a team that struggled so much last year. But you have to at this point in the juncture. Every team has to decide, are we going to be good in the new Big 12? Are we going to build a basis in this new conference? And Oklahoma State has a great opportunity to do so this year.
Drake, you are the absolute man. I greatly appreciate you coming on. I've been a big fan. We've had the opportunity to talk quite a bit when you were with Locked On Baylor. So obviously this move for you is amazing. You're absolutely killing it.
Thank you.
I know you got to go because you have more appearances.
Dinner is hot and ready right now, man. Dinner's hot and ready.
Busy Pants. Tell the fine people how they can find you, how they can see you, and how they can get rocked and rolling on some Drake action. Yeah,
at Drake C. Toll on Twitter. If you head over to the YouTube, I'm geriatric. Head over to the YouTube. Locked On Big 12 will be right there for you. And we're right now, Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. What's the bigger brand in college athletics? It's very comparable. You can vote at Locked On Big 12 on Twitter.
Dude, I saw that, and Oklahoma State is winning like barely 42 to 37%, something like that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't gone on there and voted, make sure you do that. And Drake, I know you didn't know this, and I don't know if you've ever heard this before, so please tell me if you have. But I decided when you get to ripping and roaring as eloquently and masterfully as you do at times, I call it you're getting people Drakeinated. It's the Drakenation effect, man.
Drakeinated. I'm gonna have to use that one from now on.
Yeah.
Yes. I drink 3 energy drinks a day until my heart explodes. And when that day comes, I'm just going to keep on going even after.
You know what? It's probably going to be one of those scenarios where we're behind a microphone hooting and hollering at our team for doing something absolutely preposterous.
Yep. Bingo. There you go. And when the day comes, I'll be ready.
You're my guy. I appreciate you. Locked On Big 12. Everybody go check out Drake. You're the man, buddy.
Cody, I'll see you later. I appreciate everything you do for this show, and I hope Oklahoma State – I know they do, but I hope Oklahoma State fans understand the talent and just the pure energy and natural ability and natural passion is what I want to say, natural passion behind the microphone for Oklahoma State. You're the best. You're the best Oklahoma State, and I know some really good Oklahoma State media guys. You're the best one when it comes to giving it right and loving your team so well, and I appreciate every bit of it. I hope people understand how great you are to them.
Well, thank you, buddy. I greatly appreciate that. I do.
I'll see you guys later, though, Cody. I got to get this food. I got to get the food.
Yeah, go get the food. Go take some names, kick some ass. You got this.
Bingo.
Later, bud. All right, guys. So, yeah, it's pretty simplistic. It was awesome having Drake on. But since we are, in fact, live, I don't mind staying on for a little bit. So, guys, this is a big season. I think this is a very big season for Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State. There's a lot that we can do. There's a lot that we can accomplish. And it's set up for us to do so. The offensive line is deep. They've been together for quite some time. The quarterback competition is, in fact, that. It is a competition. This is Alan Bowman's job, right? We get that. We're tracking. But Garrett Rangel's doing enough to push for a reason. Garrett Rangel's going to put us in a position that if we do have to utilize any other quarterbacks, we're fine. The running back room is phenomenal. If we don't average 4.6 yards carry, I just repeated myself. If we don't average 4.6 yards a carry, I don't know what I'll do, but I feel like I should do something stupid because it just lines up. And then we have a 2 deep right behind them. And then we have tight ends, legitimate tight ends that play the position of tight end. The defense is faster, more athletic than literally ever. You can go back to 1984. You can go back to 2021. Was the 2021 defense better? Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously you got Malcolm Rodriguez and Devin Harper, Christian Holmes, and then obviously Jason Taylor II, Colby Harbell Peel. Okay, cool. That group right there is not quite as athletic as this group right here. Notice I didn't say better. They're not yet. We don't know yet. But we know enough to see that this 6.5 over under is ridiculous. It's a slap in the face. We should feel disrespected about it. I cannot wait to be in a position to do something about it on the football field. We're 18 days away. The rumors of Jaden Nixon being ruled as RB1. So that is accurate. It is him atop the depth chart at the moment, but it's one of those or type of things. So Elijah Collins got dinged up. When I say dinged up, he got a bunch of cramps, but they were pretty significant cramps, like IV, and had to ride the bike for a few days instead of practicing type cramps. So it allowed Ollie Gordon and a couple of walk-ons to get a lot more carries. And in the process of that, you kind of want to, help Ollie stay prepared, which gives Jaden Nixon more opportunities. Jaden Nixon is the home run threat. Now, if Elijah Collins had been getting all of those carries, I do think he would be with Ollie RB1. I do still see Jaden as legitimately more of like an RB3 type of scenario, but he's an RB3 that will get 8, maybe even 10 carries a game. That's a lot. That's a lot for an RB3. But it's not going to be a scenario where he only gets a couple because he's a home run threat every time he touches the ball. He is number one on the depth chart, but it's him or Ollie or Elijah, right? It's the or thing that we're semi-famous for. But we're pretty comfortable right now with any of the three starting. That I can assure you. That's why I'm saying, to me, 4.6 yards a carry, it should be the expectation. It absolutely should be the expectation. In 2018, with Chuba Hubbard and not this good of an offensive line, we averaged 5.3 yards a carry. In 2019, we averaged 4.9 yards a carry. Heck, with Jaden Warren by himself, we accomplished that range. This is a different season. And yeah, you're 100% right, Wade Blanket. I'm not only just excited about the season, but this defense is stupid. I can't think of a better word to use for it. And stupid, I mean in good. The athleticism is absolutely crazy. Guys, Trey Rucker will be a problem for people. Trey Rucker is literally like that dog that you got to keep on the chain and you're afraid that he's going to break the daggone thing. It's going to happen at some point in time. The dog's going to get off the chain. He's going to get out in the yard. He's going to chase everything around the neighborhood and wreak havoc. That is Trey Rucker. Lyric Rawls looks like a grown-ass man right now. Guys, I said this the other day in the show, so a lot of you that are in here, the regulars, remember, but not just 6 months ago. He was on the show, and he looked like a freshman, redshirt freshman, college kid. He don't look like that no more. The transformation in 6 months is absolutely insane for Lyric Rawls. It is. And then we don't even need to talk about Kendall Daniels. Oh, we actually should talk about Kendall Daniels. I talked about it in my show yesterday. It's great for Colin Oliver to be on multiple preseason award lists. He's earned it. He deserves it. I think it's fantastic that Brennan Presley is on the preseason watch list. But not having Kendall Daniels on a preseason watch list should be bulletin board material. That is real. Like that's not just a term that people use. Bulletin board material is legitimate. And I think Kendall Daniels is going to be able to use this as a launching pad. I mean, heck, recently, the guys you've been hearing about more. So another thing about that depth chart, Oakley, was Colin Clay is listed ahead of Justin Kirkland. That, again, that's an or type of scenario. And that's a legitimate thing because just in this fall, Xavier Ross has turned into a different person. From spring to fall. It took 3 years, okay? 3 years and an extra spring, but once that happened, the light bulb has clicked on. The last couple of weeks, he's been an absolute nightmare for offensive linemen. And again, this is a deep offensive line. We got 5 guys that have been together for 5 years. Well, what else could you want? The sixth man of the year, the guy that rotates all over the place, could start at 75% of Big 12 schools. We're just going to have that capability. So regardless of the depth chart scenario, yes, Goodlow is listed as number 2 as well. Guys, Nathan Latu looks good. Deshaun Brown is 6'3", 230 pounds, runs a low 4.5. I would bet money that he'll be able to run a 4.4 by next year. Deshaun Brown, a defensive end. Like, it's pretty crazy. Israel Ishuman Hunley, he's come on like gangbusters, kind of like Xavier Ross. Took a little bit of time to get it rocking and rolling, but he's figured it out now. And it's not like Goodlow's doing bad. Anthony Goodlow is doing fine. He had a sack the other day, had a tipped pass that went for an interception. So he's still doing a lot. It just, we have more depth than I thought we had coming into it. I really did. My prediction of Bowman's quarterback, we play K-State, he'll get injured out for the season. I don't have faith in this hell. I mean, can't nobody fault you for that, bud. Nobody can fault you for that one. He has been kind of made of glass. He has. So whenever you think about how good Garrett Rangel looks right now, should we not all breathe a little bit easier? And some people still have this idea that Garrett Rangel can't get it done. And I'm trying to, pound my chest or yell at the top of the mountains, whatever it is. Garrett Rangel is good. Garrett Rangel's good enough to be a 10-win quarterback in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Alan Bowman could be too. But you're not wrong. The dude is made of glass, and he's hurt on a fairly consistent basis. Yeah, we don't get to play Tech. That does. Yeah, that's not very fun. They wanted Rangel to start and play this season. Well, you know what, dude? Garrett Rangel's going to play. Like, there is no ifs, ands, buts about it. There's no question. And he'll actually play more than just, okay, it's the end of the game, right? We're going to get stiff done. They're going to give Rangel legit series, it looks like. Like, if we still can't make a decision as of right now today, I mean, yeah, it's still leaning towards Alan Bowman. But the fact that Garrett Rangel has it that close, again, it's either that Alan Bowman isn't the guy or Garrett Rangel's just gotten that much better. I mean, none of us are going to be able to know till we see it. But I know a lot of people are big fans of Garrett Rangel being the future. Oh, and congrats to all of you who stuck in here. Bowman got beat up at Tech. Yeah, he didn't play at Michigan. No. He he got stuck behind a couple dudes. So he only got a couple legit snaps, nothing meaningful. He played a lot in their scrimmage spring stuff, but no real snaps on the field. So, and he still managed to break an ankle, being the third team guy at Michigan. Practice, I guess. It is what it is. But oh yeah, everybody who hung in here, get prepared, get yourself fired up for the future. I think there's almost no scenario other than injury that Garrett Rangel's not the guy, like the guy next season. The year after that, him and Zane Flores very well may battle this thing out. And then it should be Zane Flores, right? This is the picture that we're all painting. But after Zane Flores could be Malake Smith. Go watch that dude's film. I'm excited. I'm excited about this dude. And we've had kind of a little bit of a lull as far as commitments and all of that fun jazz go. So this will be a good shot in the arm. And hopefully it has the Landon Cleveland effect. The 4-star safety, Landon Cleveland, out of Texas, has been doing a phenomenal job of helping recruit, as has Gunnar Wilson and David Kabongo. Now you got Tamarick Johnson tied up in it. Hopefully, Legend Journey is in the fold pretty daggone soon. But Malake Smith, especially being in California, same high school as some random dude nobody's ever heard of named Tom Brady. Yeah. It's going to be good. We shouldn't have a lot of worries in the recruiting realm. I know the number's not great. He'll help, and he will bring some dudes with him from the West Coast, which will open up a little bit more of recruiting. We've done well on the West Coast recently. So hopefully it's something we can continue. I believe Garrett Rangel is legit when I see it. Oh, I will believe. Practice reports don't mean much. Flores will be the guy next. Oh, go. No, buddy. Come on, man. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You got to see it. That's fine. But even if you go back and look at last year, if there was instances that the offensive lineman was getting pushed into him, then yes, his base got funky. He got a little short. His motion got a little loopy instead of staying over top. He did obviously make some mental mistakes when he was trying to go through the check down process. It happens. But he also did a lot of good things. When he had time, when he had protection, he knew when to zing the daggone thing. He knew when to put a little bit of air on it. That's something that comes with a little bit more time. He's had that time. And again, he's put on 17 pounds and shaved off 2 milliseconds off of his daggone 40. His throwing motion's gotten better. His accuracy's gotten better. His platform's gotten better. Like, well, I mean, what do you want from the daggone dude? Malake Smith, great footwork. Yes, great footwork, great frame. He's got an absolute cannon for an arm. The dude can throw 70 yards from a knee. Yeah. And, he reminds me a little bit of Malik Murphy. I'm not saying he's Malik Murphy. So any Texas people out there, calm down. But I get that kind of feel, right? Needs more reps. Online needs to be better. He'll be fine. Flores take over in the future. And I hope the offensive line is better. Yeah, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. You'll be pleasantly surprised with the offensive line. You'll be pleasantly surprised with the performance of Garrett Rangel. Guy, there's got to be a reason that there is nobody talking about Zane Flores being the guy this year. Like, it's not even a little bit of a conversation. It was last year. Last spring, there was talk about, oh, well, maybe this Rangel kid can step up and do some stuff. So it is different. And it's not because he's doing bad. Zane Flores is ahead of where Gunnar Gundy was as a freshman. He's ahead of where Garrett Rangel was as a freshman. But Garrett Rangel and Alan Bowman and even Gunnar Gundy have done so good There is no need to rush Zane Flores. There's no need for it to even be a topic of conversation. And that's why you haven't heard about it. The dude is very, very good, but he ain't better than Garrett Rangel. Right now, he ain't better than Gunnar Gundy. This is 100% fact right here, right now. The dude got to come in at 6'3", 205 pounds. Yeah, he has a lot going for him, but there's no need to rush him because what we have in front of him is not only serviceable, but good enough to compete for some kind of title. Less high school kids just means more portal. Yeah. I hate that, but you ain't wrong. Pat Jones told me we can win games with an average quarterback if the offensive line is good. I mean, from an old school perspective, yeah, right. Clock management, the Bill Snyder style of play. That's kind of what Pat Jones was able to do. But Pat Jones also had Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas. And when he had to, he could toss it up to Hartley Dykes. So I don't know that Pat Jones' old school philosophy is 100% applicable today, but I mean, we're going back to an old school system. So from that aspect, he ain't wrong. Like, we don't need a Heisman quarterback contender. If the O-line holds up and our two deep is as good as it appears they are, and our running game can hit that 4.5, 4.6 yards a carry, then yeah, we need a game manager. That's what we need. We don't need a hero. We need a Joe Flacco, a Trent Dilfer. It is what it is. And Alan Bowman can be that 100%. Garrett Rangel kind of is the epitome of that right now. Alan Bowman just does offer a little bit more pizzazz than Garrett Rangel. Garrett Rangel is just more consistent, right? So it's, what do you want to go with? Do you want to go with the guy that can probably do some crazy stuff, or the guy that is not going to mess anything up? This is the conundrum that we face right now. And Gunnar Gundy will have packages. You know what I mean? The dude came in running a 4.9, almost a 5.0 40, and now he's running a 4.6 flat. Gunnar Gundy's going to have some red zone packages, some short yardage type of packages. Met Flores in 2 years. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Yeah. So this year, I think, Alan Bowman's going to play a lot. I think Garrett Rangel's actually going to play a lot, whether it be by design, earn it, or injury. We're going to get a healthy dose of Garrett Rangel. We're going to get a decent amount of Gunnar Gundy. We might see Zane Flores because you get that 3 games where it doesn't go against your recruiting. But, I don't know. Barry says our 24 is looking pretty good. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And then if we get the news of Malachi Smith, plus some of the guys that he can bring with him, that's a big win. I know BYU just picked up 2 quarterbacks, but there's a reason they did that. And BYU's not dumb. BYU knows good and daggone well that once they took that other dude the other day, they were trying to push Malachi Smith into making a decision. He wasn't ready yet. And so BYU went a different direction. And there's only 7 people on to hear that. How about that? All right, y'all. Well, heck, it's already been 50 minutes. Might as well stay on for a little bit. Yeah, it'll be a mixture this year. Next year, it'll be all Garrett Rangel. It'll be his show to roll. And then the year after, it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting because it should be Zane Flores. But Garrett Rangel could come back for that other year. If he has a phenomenal season next year, then it won't matter. But we're not going to have the O-line next season that we have right now. I don't think. Even though Jacoby Sanders, true freshman out of Stillwater High School, mountain of a man, looks very, very good, legitimately on the 3 deep. Jack and Dean, offensive tackle, reminds everybody of Tevin Jenkins when Tevin Jenkins was a freshman. He's young. He's doing very, very well. What What is the other dude's name that's killing it right now? Oh, dagnabbit. It makes me angry whenever I forget stuff. But there's another offensive lineman that's doing very, very well as a freshman as we speak. So we got three. We have three freshmen: Jacoby Sanders, Jack and Dean. Oh, why am I blanking? Oh, it makes me angry. Anyways, yeah. We got three that are vying for time. You just said Ringo looked good in practice last year. We saw what we saw. Get Flores a year to develop, and we'll see what we happen. Bet. Yeah, he's already there. I mean, you say we saw what we saw, guys. May not be the most popular take in the world, but I do not chalk our quarterback play up last year to most of their problem. We allowed 12, 13 offensive linemen to leave us last spring, didn't replace any of them. We allowed that to happen. We put ourselves in that position to have a terrible offensive line. We had the wrong guy at running back. We had no running game. We allowed Spencer Sanders to run around like he was playing flipping Madden in the backyard because we didn't have much of another option. Our offensive line did get decimated. They already were not necessarily the greatest. We didn't have a good two deep. I mean, come on now. There's a lot of reasons last year didn't go very well, but to say it was because of Garrett Rangel or because of Gunnar Gundy or any of that, I don't think that's right. Gunnar Gundy, he looked like it was ridiculous the game against K-State where he's shaking on national television. Okay, cool. Terrible spot. I'd have wanted to punch my dad in the daggone throat if he put me in the game down 42-0. Oh, here, son, go do something with this. Come on, man. And then he gets his first real start ever against the best defense in the Big 12, the John Haycock 3-3-5 that we're going to be running now, but it's actually going to be better than John Haycock's 3-3-5. That 3-3-5 is who Gunnar Gundy got to go up against. Last season was not on the quarterback position whatsoever. I mean, I hate that there's some things that we still throw around that just aren't quite right. The top 7 linemen could all come back next year, should not lose all. Well, Cole Birmingham is a redshirt senior, right? Taylor Materko is a senior. Yeah. Jake Springfield is a senior. Dalton Cooper is a senior. I know he's not part of the original 5. Joe Mikulski is a senior. Preston Wilson is a senior. What do you mean, man? I mean, could they take like that extra COVID year type thing? I guess. Yeah, it's possible. Oh, Gage Staniland. That was the other freshman that's kicking tail at the offensive line. Yeah, Gage Staniland and Jacoby Sanders and Jack and Dean. Those are the 3 freshmen that are doing some stuff. Yeah, I guess. I mean, they could take the COVID year stuff, but they've been so banged up, all of them at some point in time in their careers. I don't know that is going to be the most advised route. But you're right, they could take it. And I think that depends on how this year goes. Because if we have a phenomenal season, we'll lose a lot of guys, and that's fine, right? That comes with the territory. If we don't accomplish something that we're setting out to accomplish, then maybe we get a lot of COVID type of guys back again. Whatever happens this year, I won't be disappointed. I'm looking for to have higher expectations. Why, bro? I guarantee you, there's absolutely no way in God's purple earth that we will have a better schedule next year. There's no way. And we're going to lose some linemen on both sides of the ball. We're going to lose a couple linebackers. We don't lose any. We lose one corner, maybe. We could get Corey back. Running back, we lose just one. Wide receiver, we lose 3. So, I guess you ain't wrong. We return a decent amount. But we got to capitalize on the schedule this year. And oh guys, I cannot wait to see this old school attack. This smash you in the mouth stuff. It's going to be epic. It's going to be glorious. I'm going to love every daggone minute of it. Yeah, this was fun, y'all. All right. A few more minutes. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead, fire it away. Let me have it. Other than that, oh man, y'all make sure you're checking out Drake's stuff. Drake's awesome. He's very eloquent in the way he presents information. Debonair, Rico Swab, whatever you want to call it. I was just going to say the O-line is as good as going to indicate it. I see about 5. Yeah. If we go win a Big 12 title in Arlington, we're going to lose a few linemen. It is what it is. It's not a bad thing, right? Yeah. Capitalization this season has to be the mantra. We're losing a lot on defense. But we lose, like I said, a couple linebackers. We don't lose 3. I don't know who the third one would be. Xavier's gone. Justin's gone. That should be it. Nick Martin's a redshirt junior. Donovan Stevens, redshirt junior. And then obviously you got the young cast like Gabe Brown that's been able to kind of make a name for himself and do some stuff. So we're pretty young there. Safety, we're beyond fine. We all know that. Defensive end, with the emergence of Deshaun Brown. Who was the other dude that was killing it the last 2 days? Another local Okie. Defensive lineman. More experience for next season, new offense, new defense this year. Yeah, but the simplification is going to show out pretty quick. It is new, but it's very, very, very simple. Like everything we're doing is predicated off of like one key. There's not a bunch of different shifts and stunts and twists and craziness. This defense is going to be very simplistic. Very, very, very simple. Oh, Oliver. Okay. Good call, buddy. Yeah. You are right there. But dude, I really do think between Tamarick Johnson, Jonathan Agumadew, Gunnar Wilson, one of those 3 will play next year a lot. And if y'all been hearing, Gabe Brown's getting a lot of love from the veterans on the field. He's the Mr. Right, he's at the right spot at the right time. He's not going to wow you. He's not Kendall Daniels. He's not Colin Oliver. He's not going to jump off the page doing crazy stuff, but he's always going to be in the right spot, always going to be making the right. He's like a faster version of Caleb Levy. What actually happened with DeAndre Jackson? He quit. He got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt, and he's going to have a season-ending surgery, and he kind of chose to do it at home. I don't think this is one of those old school scenarios where Oklahoma State was getting funny with how they handle injuries. I think this was a big injury, big recovery. Didn't necessarily see all the meat on the bone because you knew he was going to be the number 4 guy no matter what happened. Just because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent around him. There's a lot of talent ahead of him. And he gets that. You're talking about Chase, Joe Bob's boy, getting some mention. I hadn't heard that, but that would be cool, man. Y'all know I love the legacy deal. That means the world to me. So, hey, matter of fact, I'll plug this before I get out of here. Next Tuesday, the 22nd, we're gonna have Tatum Bell on the show. And me and Tatum are going to go over the running backs, go over the fullbacks, go over the offensive tight ends, that type of thing. And just kind of see what they all offer from his perspective. Because he might know a little bit more about collegiate running back than me. I don't know. Maybe. And when we're on it, I might do it live. Actually, yeah, I might promote it and do it live because we need to get TJ in a Cowboy uniform. Guys, man. Again, I love the legacy thing. That's why Jalen Montanati is number one on my bucket list to get in basketball. But football, guys, Tatum Jr. TJ Tatum Bell Jr. is a bad mamma jamma, and he's a wide receiver. His dad wanted him to play running back. He did play running back, and he was good. I've seen some of the 7th, 8th grade film. It was, pretty daggone cool. But he really wants to play wide receiver. And I don't know who has a pretty good track record with wide receivers. I don't know. And Tatum loves Ohio State, y'all. I'm very blessed, very, very blessed in this job to be able to chop it up with people like that on a daily basis. Yeah, dude, Tatum was one of my favorites. I talked about him in the show today. I thought he could really. Yeah, no, he would have been our goal line guy. Like, there is no ifs, ands, buts about it. You take the 2021 situation with DeAndre instead of the other Jackson, DeAndre instead of Desmond, different outcome. And that was the role he was not only willing to play, but so I talked to DeAndre multiple times about coming on the show. And I'll be able to talk about that at some point in time, I think. But anywho, we had a lot of conversations, and he was legitimately, knowing he was going to be the number 4 guy, he was still talking about how we might be the best running back group in the country, the best 4 deep running back group in the country. And for being a freshman, Desi Valeje is actually performing. And then we've got 2 walk-ons that have been getting a lot of carries as well. I think it's definitely Elijah Collins, Ollie Gordon, Jaden Nixon in that order. If everything stays even, but if Elijah Collins keeps having cramps and keeps having little things pop up, and Jaden Nixon steals that amount of carries in practice, you'll see it on the field. We're taking a different approach. At least it appears as though we're taking a different approach. It appears as though our coaches, Gundy included, have bought into the idea of, oh, hell, I don't know, the best daggone players are going to play. Not a Dom situation. Love Dom. You love Dom. I love Dom. We can make Dominator T-shirts. I'm fine with that. But he just wasn't the guy. Jaden Nixon should have been the guy over him last year. Ollie Gordon should have been the guy over him last year. I like to say, film don't lie. You could see it. So we weren't playing the best players available all the time. We were kind of playing the favorite, the safe route. This is not a safety season. We should just take the e-brake, right, that Gundy has, and just rip it out of the stadium. Whatever e-brake is on that sideline in Boone Pickens Stadium, we need to take it. We need to go toss it in the daggone trash. Because if we don't have an e-brake this year, I do think that we can do this. Maybe I'm crazy. It will take the games on the field to pull the receipts to find out. We're almost there. Almost there. And yeah, we're going to beat the ever-living tar of Central Arkansas, but they do have an NFL defensive end. 6'6", 245-pound dude that runs like a 4.45, low 4.5, high 4.9 type of deal. So our offensive line is going to get a little bit of a test against Central Arkansas. We're going to get to see all the quarterbacks. We're going to get to see all the running backs, including some of the walk-on, probably the freshmen. Middle linebacker looks good. All the linebacker positions actually look way, way, way better than anticipated. Only time will tell. I get it. I'm tracking. I feel it. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be sitting on my hands with this year. Yes. All right, buddy. I can take it. I can take it. I'm all right with that. All righty, y'all. I'm gonna get off here and go pretend to be productive. I appreciate y'all stopping through. I had a blast with Drake on. Oh, Aiden Kelly. Yes. Oh, you are awesome. Very, very well. Very well. Both Xavier Ross and Aiden Kelly look really good. Aiden Kelly was very banged up coming into the spring, during the spring, through the spring, but fall, he's getting back to what made him an interesting prospect. Aiden Kelly is pushing. This is not just Justin Kirkland. Justin Kirkland is the dude that moves mountains. Colin Clay is he's going to have a big year. Colin Clay is an NFL dude. And then now Xavier Ross the last couple of weeks has just turned it onto another gear, as has Aiden Kelly. Aiden Kelly's healthy. He's performing very, very well. He is in the rotation, and he will play a crap ton. So I'm very glad you asked. Thank you. I do feel better about the D-line. Yeah, right, dude. If guys that we know are on that level, and Kirkland won't be second team. Colin Clay is playing that good, but what Kirkland can do, you just can't. You can't replicate it, man. He's a mountain. He's a mountain of a dude that moves mountains. All right, y'all. That's all we got for this one. I love you know what? I like going live, actually. I think I'm a fan of it. But it's no different to me. Live, my show, whatever. It's the same. I could probably tinker around with some editing, but I don't know. Y'all let me know. Should I incorporate some editing, or should I just let it flow? Because I typically just, I don't know. I just like to grip it and rip it, y'all. All righty. That's all we're gonna have for this one. I gotta give you my little outro taggy thingy. Ha ha! You can't see my face. Appreciate you coming in. Everybody go follow Drake. Make sure you're checking out Locked On Big 12. Locked On Baylor has a new host, so that'll be pretty cool. Love you. God bless. Go Pokes. Later, taters.